What's up, everybody? My name is Justin Cologne.
I'm Mike AC.
I'm Jaemy Paris.
I am Beaujangles.
And I'm Julian Wicks.
And you're watching
The Airdrop!
Let's get right into this fucking shit, motherfuckers.
That's what I'm talking about. You guys, so we have some ground to cover today. I really want to touch upon some really interesting topics. One of them being seen in social media these days today, and a big topic that has been actually been in our culture for a while. It has been the transgender community crossing over into sports.
Oh.
Yeah, so
It's funny that a lot of people that have nothing to do with the trans community have a lot to say.
I agree with that.
That's usually what happens. But you know, when you need clickbait, you need somebody to want to watch your show, or you know, when you're nobody, you have to talk about something that's relevant to be relevant. So I feel like a lot of times people in the cis community, they like to talk about things that they don't know anything about. They just want to share an opinion.
I mean,
Because stupidity spreads faster than
honestly.
even in the gay community, like we don't all share the same story. So we also don't share, you know, the trans story the same way you do. So we also need to be careful of what we talk about and how we say things. So
Absolutely, and
all people just need to be
that
careful.
is actually a very smart point because a lot of people in the LGBT community
Yes.
has a lot to say and a lot of opinions about something that they cannot relate to.
Correct.
And they feel like they are a part of it because they are a sort of umbrella that became 17 different umbrellas.
Right.
And
Totally.
they think that they have the right to say that something's right and wrong and question it to the point that it's not for someone. They're not questioning an actual person of that group.
Right.
They're questioning it in the internet. So like everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And it becomes like this crazy like storm of opinions that really I'm not gonna listen to, and somebody that's in the LGBTQIA, ABC, whatever the fuck, should really listen to if they're not really part of that specific group.
Right, exactly.
A trans group is a different group than any other person in that whole mantra.
You can relate to the overall umbrella, but you may not relate to the actual experience.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But
Exactly.
I get that.
But that does not, and that does, and I'm not gonna say but, and that does not give you the right to opinionate on it.
Exactly.
So before we let our trans sister talk, I want to ask you guys as a cast, how do you guys feel about transgender people entering sports? Like, for instance, would you put a transgendered female up against a cis female?
I got something to say.
No, I don't think that's a question for the cast. That's what I was saying before.
Well,
it's like
I think that
the opinions that they have might be really great. They have nothing to do with what the outcome of
Absolutely. But I do think it's important though that we do share a little bit, because we may have opinions that are similar to other people's. And
I
this is
just
where
feel-
our
okay.
sister
You're right.
can correct all
We
of
need
us.
to be corrected.
Okay,
we
so
need to
this
correct
is what
ourselves.
I feel. I feel like, sorry to interrupt everybody.
on the table.
Judge Judy.
I feel like, okay, this is what I feel. Okay, so like, when you're trans, you take the specific hormones of the gender you are identifying as. Correct. Right? So if you're taking testosterone or if you're taking estrogen, you are blocking the opposites of pushing through your DNA. Am I right?
The growth.
Am I right?
Right.
Okay, just want to make sure. So for the straight cis community, what about when you're competing against a motherfucker who's taking steroids and you're not?
Same thing.
Let's talk about that.
But they get eliminated.
Right.
Can we talk about
They
that?
get eliminated.
Right, but they get eliminated.
So I feel like it's a gray area. Just like being trans, it's a gray area. But I feel like it's a gray area because if you're taking estrogen, if you're male to female, you're taking estrogen, you become like weaker, you reduce your muscle mass and things like that. So you're not as strong as your typical male. Whereas if you're female to male, you're taking testosterone, which is basically like steroids.
Right.
So you might be stronger than your average male. So I feel like maybe there should be a trans kind of Olympics. I mean, we have Special Olympics.
Right.
Why not trans Olympics?
Can I say something?
Yeah, I see that.
So I feel like thinking about it is just again a theory and idea of maybe how we can work this out, because I don't think that necessarily have to separate cis from trans. I think the coolest thing we could do is maybe go through like we'll have like levels of you know, ability. You see what I'm saying? So just it'll be based on what you can do. So you can have like ASVAB tests almost. So you maybe like do certain things, certain amount of like exercise, certain amount of pull-ups, certain amount of like maybe make a certain amount of baskets or whatever it may be for that sport, and then you get ranked in a certain level of, you know, your ability,
and that could be
then
done.
everyone in that level, it has the same the same level. Like no one's too much stronger than the other person, and that's everyone's fair game. I think that it includes
that could be done, but the issue would be that when somebody loses, they're going to say, "Oh, I lost because it was a man beating me up."
And
even if it was a trans woman or if it was like a cis male, but they're all on the same level. They all could lift up 100 pounds.
But that's exactly the point. They can't say that because science now says
they could say that because that's what they want to say.
But science now says you guys take the same aptitude test, basically, see what you're capable of, and if you guys are in the same levels like featherweight, welterweight, middleweight, heavyweight, same type of situation. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter anything. People could say, people could argue race.
Yeah.
People could argue race in boxing, right?
Yeah.
They can say maybe this person's race is known to having heavy hands, right? Maybe people can say that and say, oh, because he had an advantage on me.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, too, there's levels to this shit, obviously.
Right.
So it's like, I used to be a wrestler myself back in the day.
Wow.
All right.
Wait, whoa, excuse the fuck out of me, motherfucker.
He's just getting finer and finer.
I'm just saying, like back in my teenage days, I used to wrestle, but it was all based off of brackets, right? So like you had a weight, like, you know, you wouldn't. There's weight training, yes, and I don't want to even just like minimize it down to like the transgender community fighting in sports or whatever the case may be, whatever sports they choose. There's always that test of like, all right, he's 200 pounds. And he's 200 pounds, let's put them together. But that also doesn't negate like their agility, their like little aspects like that. Because there are females that can like throw probably a lot further than men. You know what I mean? They could probably be the same age.
Cis males and cis females. You're talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
But you can't, but I'm saying like in the sense of like, because there's so many layers to it, you can't just sit here and just because a transgender female knocked a cis female out on the ground, you can't just automatically assume because she's transgender, that's why she won.
Right.
Exactly. Well, that's
You
what I'm
understand?
Because I've seen a lot of fucking cis males get fucked up by bitches, females, sorry to call females bitches, that try them. You know what I mean?
Listen,
like, I've seen a lot, like, I've seen videos on YouTube and things where straight guys have tried a female and they fucked up, the female has fucked them up.
Yeah.
That's
Period.
Yeah, that actually.
Period.
No, seriously. And again, the truth is that at the core of it, as human beings, we are all able to do different things at different levels as human beings. So I think that the truth is with sports, it could be as simple as that.
But you know, that's what it all comes down to.
Your level.
There's no black and white way to be a man. There's no black and white way to be a woman. There's no, you know, just because you're born a certain sex, it doesn't mean that you're able to do certain things.
Exactly.
Like, I know short guys, I know tall guys, I know tall women, I know short women. So it's like, you know, you can't really just say, oh, because you're a woman, you're this way, or because you're a man, you're this way. And that's really the problem. They put more emphasis on trans people because we went from point A to point B, but that is the same story for all women. There's cisgender women who can't have babies. There's cisgender women who have mustaches. There's cisgender women who are tall and strong. So it's like, it's not because they're trans. It's just because things are falling apart.
That was incredible, bitch. That was incredible. incredible.
That was smart.
Because you read and you sang. You literally read and you sang, bitch. You know what?
Cheers to the queers.
Cheers to the queers, bitches.
Cheers to fucking that. I mean, were you into sports growing up?
I was a Boy Scout.
Come on, Boy Scout.
So that was amazing, but not really.
No, really.
No, so I was in the Boy Scouts, and it was terrible because like we slept in a cabin, we were in the woods.
That's what Boy Scouts do.
I guess like.
On our next segment.
Oh, don't get your bangs in a bunch. We were transitioning.
I think I need a cigarette break after this shit.
No.
I'm fucking tired.
We don't smoke no more.
Go on.
On our next segment, as I explained to you earlier, we're getting to the topic of queer minorities.
Queer
minorities. Yeah, so
All of us except Justin.
Bitch, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not a gringo. Don't ever get it twisted, baby.
You're still very, very
They got it very, very twisted.
And very, very
They said this, they were like, what?
It's like he's what?
I'm Boricua, baby.
yeah.
I thought your voting card was as red as your face.
No.
You see, as soon as they don't like you, you're a man. It never,
Oh my
it never
God.
fails.
I cannot.
Anybody that has came out, I'm sure, has had a story. Everyone that does come out has a story. Anyone that's in the part of the gay culture, anybody that's a part of the alphabet, has had some kind of coming out story of growing up gay or however you identify. But I feel like the double jeopardy would be to be a minority because, especially in today's time, I mean, everything political that's happening in the world, the minorities are just getting the butts of a lot.
Everything.
Not the butt.
The butt of a lot of stuff. So imagine, I just know, I can only speak from my experiences, like growing up. Not only, I grew up in a very Caucasian community.
A white community.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you know what I mean?
know,
So
but
like
you know what
I
I'm
came
saying.
out not only as a gay male, but I also am black. You know, I'm black and
Right.
Spanish. I'm black and Latino. So it's like
They didn't know.
they had to find out. They had to find out.
Someone had
But
to
you know
tell
what?
What are they?
At the end of the day, when you're, it doesn't even matter. They don't even care if you're like, I don't know, like for you guys, you can probably identify more as I want to say light skinned because I use that frivolously.
We're
but
the
like,
same color.
but like more so like me and Bo's complexion, they're gonna assume black. You know, just like Justin's Puerto Rican, he's full Puerto Rican, but they are assuming white.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So like,
Because
how
you
about you?
remember
Like,
Christopher.
Stop.
okay, he said
Sorry,
the ocean blue.
Columbus.
But how about you, Mike? Like you are.
Don't do that.
I mean,
girl.
I would say being from Brooklyn and
He
identifying
identifies as black, so stop.
identifying as a gay male.
Sorry.
Identifying as a gay male as a minority.
Right.
You know, I'm sure we've had. I could see us having similar growing ups, but a completely different
Outcome.
view. Yeah, you know what I mean. So
Absolutely. I think about it all the time.
Yeah, because I feel like you grew up on the island, right? Which is just different in all so
In
many
general,
ways. And
yeah.
you grew up
Period.
in like
I grew up in the suburbs.
exactly in the suburbs, and then
And you
like
grew up-
I grew up like smack dab in the center of like actual like I don't even
You
know.
grew up in
Hood.
gang Brooklyn.
Like-
gang Bushwick.
like yeah, like so
Like
like
Brooklyn, like by Jay-Z.
by
Like
She said.
like real Brooklyn. I was like, I'm by Marcy. What is that?
I was gagged when you said that. I was like,
I was gagging. I was there.
No, she didn't get out the car. She didn't get out the
I
car.
was gagging.
And I
was gagging.
And I live-
was
I
like,
live in
I'm
a
not
nicer
getting out
area
this
now.
car until y'all tell me where
That's a
you're at.
nicer area now.
yeah, you do.
Bitch, not in my sparkly boots. They was gonna get me, bitch.
There was really no place like home.
But I feel like I think ultimately it's just I think the experience that we all have in general is because we all feel like less than. I know I felt that. Honestly, for me, I felt less than because the way we were talked to, the way even again cops talk to all of us like literally like we're roaches. You better run and scatter when we come by. You know,
Right.
and it's just like why is that the narrative? I remember like parents would scare their kids like, oh, the cops is coming, and kids 2, 3 years old running. Why is that the innate like thought to kind of just run and hide from police? Like, why is that?
the initial
Well, because
reaction.
police initially were made to. They were originally catching runaway slaves.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, white people aren't running from
right.
slave catchers.
Right.
So
exactly.
it's passed down trauma from generation to generation,
yeah.
and that's why we have, unfortunately, I feel that's why we have a lot of minority women in different marginalized groups coming for trans women because they have only known oppression and cannot stand or are triggered by seeing other marginalized women get freedom before them.
Oh, that's a
That is
deep,
spot on.
That's
an absolute fucking fact, and the way you just broke that down just has me shook right now.
Yeah, it has me shook too, because I gotta pee a little bit. I got nervous just saying that.
No, girl, that's
that is the truth, though.
That's the
Because if you think about it, like,
Just say your truth,
women
regardless.
were the last group to get the right to vote. Like, you had men, then it was blacks, then it was women. Like, white, black, whatever, women were the last to get the right to vote. Mm-hmm. And then they pushed that whole narrative of, like, the housewife thing in the 1950s because they didn't want women to be independent. It's like a whole thing.
But then also, like, who were the only white, like, housewives? There were white housewives.
Well, that's what that is as far as best, like, media wise. Like, the media will push a certain image,
right?
But there were definitely
black and Latino
housewives of color,
but they were not
in the past.
That's what I was saying. Like,
we are homemakers.
There's no
white
exposure
folks.
of that.
Exactly, white folks hired colored people to take care of their home and their children and their kin and everything they cared about.
Yeah,
we are naturally wholesome people. We nurture
which
as
is
people.
which is why they hire us as
Could you
nannies.
imagine in today's world hiring somebody to breastfeed your child?
I don't even.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, breastfeed my child, but when you
never.
pee, go outside.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I don't.
That is a really backwards thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, to add to what we were talking about earlier, I feel like before, a lot of times we're recognized as black, white, or Latino. A lot of times we're recognized as gay.
Right.
Because
we don't
or trans or whatever. Because, like, usually before, I mean, I've never been called like a spick. But I've been called a faggot. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I don't think people care so much about the color of my skin, more
And
as what I represent. And
who you want to sleep with.
Who you want to sleep with.
Which is everybody, but like, that's my business.
Yeah.
If the price is right, I just might.
Okay.
Talk to me nice.
It's really your ability to just be whomever you feel that you are, and that freedom to do that you allow yourself is haunting the people who don't allow themselves that same right.
Right.
And it's crazy because you can literally do whatever you want. It's your life and it's a short one.
It's your decision.
But just again, the idea is that you live by what feeds your soul. If you are somebody who likes to read and experience nature, then do that. If you're somebody who wants to party and you want to explore the anatomy of man, then do that. Whatever it is,
You want to
do that.
explore?
Do that. The idea is do what the fuck you want to do and stop hating everybody else for doing what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
Period.
That's it.
Yeah.
And your life would be so much better.
Period.
Yeah.
So much better.
I feel like it's like one of those things where you just, and this is something that, you know, no offense to the white community, but like you don't.
Fix your jacket, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Shut the fuck up.
You know,
I'm not
you're
white.
fine.
I know. It's just every time it's like how you say no offense to the white community, it's about to be offensive, y'all.
No, but you have
I
to utilize. Listen. We all have this. This is what we have to honestly talk about. Stop picking on Justin. Leave him alone. He's been white his whole life. He can't help it.
I'm not white.
But we all have privilege. Come here, Tiny Tot. We all have privilege. Okay? Some of us have white privilege like Justin. Some of us,
I do have white privilege.
Yes,
I can't say that.
And
Absolutely.
some of us have pretty privilege. Some of us have realness privilege.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I have never in my life paid for my own drink. Why? Because I'm fucking
I'm a bombshell.
Period.
And if I tell this story to an ugly girl, she's gonna be like, I can't relate. Duh.
Bitch, you've never
It's
been
pretty
here.
privilege. And then you know what? It also applies to being trans, right?
Yeah.
I can pass as cis sometimes.
All
You
the
know?
time, girl.
Most of the time. But I don't like to toot my own horn, especially in front of people.
I love when you do it.
But when you're cis passing, it's like I go walk down the street and I'm okay. But some other people may walk down the street and they get called out of their name, or we're not gonna be biased.
No,
we're not gonna be biased.
Not today.
Are we gonna do the shot first?
Yeah, we can take a shot.
Non-binary cards.
When gay males come out, or and I don't mean to say gay males in that sense, but like it's from what I experience, and even for my brother is straight and he's the same age as myself, so he's seen me grow up. But and it's interesting when you grow up with another cis male. Well, I don't want to say cis male, but like my brother being straight.
Cis male.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. So like he felt like at a point when I did come out, it was like I was so out. You know what I mean? And I was extra about it. And sometimes he had a problem with like growing up. It was always like, well, why do you could be gay, but why do you always gotta take it to the next level? But it's like,
But what does that next level mean?
but that exactly. So what does that next level mean? Does that next level mean? Because also for me, it's like, well, I've always been this way.
Right, you just had to
But I've caged it in.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's how society wants us to walk around. You know, it's okay to see a male and a female kiss on a train, but God forbid 2 gay males are macking in the corner. It's somebody gotta say something.
It just comes
How
down
you
to
do it.
homophobia. It's not even about how you do it. It's about homo and transphobia. It's about you're making me uncomfortable.
Literally.
It's not about you because, God bless you and us. We're being ourselves.
Right,
and
right.
we
Happy about it.
now have to conform and restrict how we
But
behave
what really makes
because we're
me-
making somebody else uncomfortable.
No, yeah,
it
for sure.
never really has anything to do with us. It's
That's
about
what
the
I was
other
about to
people
say.
and how they react to
But
us.
I will say this though,
Yeah.
in the sense of I could see certain things that shouldn't even be based on any of your sexual preference or sexual identity or whatever it is. It should really be based on as a human being in general. Like when it comes to like PDA, it's great. If you feel in the moment you want to kiss your shorty, kiss her. Perfectly fine. Her, him, anything, whatever it is you want to do, you do in that way where it's still tasteful. The moment where you guys are in the corner and it looks a little bit where like now you're taking it to a level where it should be private.
Mind your business. That's what it comes down to. Mind
No,
your business.
no, there's a
If
level
I wanna,
of it's
if I wanna,
classless though.
It's,
It's
all
just
right,
nobody,
but
that's not-
but
it's for your
some
home,
people
it's not for
don't have
public.
class, and if some
And
people
then
don't
take
have,
that shit to
but if
somewhere
some people
else.
don't have class,
It's not
mind
fair.
your business.
I
You don't
agree.
have nothing to do
I
But
with
agree.
if
it.
there's
I
children
agree.
walking
You don't
down the street, we gotta worry about your ass in the corner.
All right, but what?
No, I'm
first
not
of all,
okay with that.
When am
My
I
kid doing this,
making?
I'm smacking the shit out of somebody.
All right, so
God.
then you do that. But what
No,
I'm,
you're not
but the
about to be
point is
doing this shit in
this:
front of
if you
the
make
children.
it, okay. When are these children out? Are they out at 10 o'clock
that-
at night?
you don't
Are they
know.
out during
That I'm
school
saying, though,
hours?
people
When am I
take-
making out with my man that makes you offended for your children?
No, it
if your
depends.
children should
Making
either be
out
at
is one
school
thing. I
agree with
or at home or whatever.
Making out is one thing, but I'm saying though, if you're taking it to another level where you guys are getting to a fondling state of where you should be private, is where
Okay,
things can
so-
go
That's
wrong for
different,
any
though.
person.
That is
We're
different,
talking
but
about
when is
kissing.
that happening?
No, that's
We're
what I'm
talking about
saying.
ki- we're talking
When
about
is that
kissing.
happening?
You just missed my whole point. My
No,
point
no,
was I'm saying
my-
that regardless to what, as long as we are doing something in the sense that it is not too far for public.
But why should
then
we
it's
have?
fantastic.
But my
Why?
thing is,
Any
why,
person, I'm saying, any
No, but
person.
why?
should.
What really
Why?
annoys
Where's
me
your,
about
what time is this happening that your child is exposed to somebody making out or fondling their boyfriend or their girlfriend? Where is your child at what hour? Why aren't they with you? Why aren't they at
Right,
a
even if
park?
they
Why
are
aren't
with-
you at home? Where
Right, but if
are
we are
you?
in a park and you're
Where
sitting
are
in a
you?
park and you're getting
So
fondled,
you're
it's just
running,
like.
but where do you run into? Have you ever ran into people who are overtly
in New York,
sexual?
first of all,
at a
this is New York
kid's-
City. I don't know where you from.
Hold
but
on.
This is New York City.
I'm from New
People
York
do it all
City,
day
but
long.
I'm not from Marcy, so we're gonna tone it
You
down
from
a
the
little
Bronx,
bit.
baby, it's worse.
We're gonna tone it down a little bit.
Where you from? You from the
We're gonna
Bronx?
tone it down a little bit so we can get to the point. So the point is this: where are you that you are running into people that are overtly sexual in front of your children. If people are making hold on, let me finish. Train. Hold on. Okay. Then don't put your children on the train. I don't really know what to tell you with that because that was just like from left field. But my point is this. When are you or where are you that you are running into people that are being overtly sexual in front of your children? Why are you, first of all, why are you bringing your children to these seedy places? And second of all, what hours are these? Like, I can understand. Hold on.
Like you're lost.
But no, I'm always lost. But my point is this. Why are you,
outside?
No. If people are making out and being obscene during normal business hours, let's say 9 to 5, right?
It can happen.
Okay, it could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. So between normal business hours of 9 to 5, you're at the park with your child.
Right.
And you see somebody jerking off somebody. That's inappropriate.
Right.
But if it is a Tuesday and your child is supposed to be in school, right? And now you walk through a park and you see 2 men or 2 women or a guy and a girl making out. Why is that bothering
Making
you?
out is
Shouldn't
fine.
your child be in school?
No,
and also, there's a lot of cartoons that show a lot of nasty, explicit shit.
I hear it. There's a certain level of we all have our own different morality.
My thing is this: why do people who are not a part of the LGBT community give a fuck about who we sleep with? That's like, because I don't give a fuck who.
Oh, I don't know. That's a whole different topic because,
like, I don't give a fuck who my straight friend sleeps with. So, like, for people to be like, oh, you fuck guys? You fuck.
I don't give a fuck who.
You fuck trans girls? You fuck. Why do you care? Yeah. Why do you give a fuck?
And also,
why do you give a fuck who's sleeping in my bed?
Why is your child my responsibility? Yeah. I am not your babysitter.
We're back to children.
Yeah, we're always back to children because you brought it up. So, I am not your child.
Even as an adult,
I'm not
I don't want to see somebody
babysitter. I'm not. It's like when Britney Spears was chastised for being herself. It's like, oh no, but what do the children think? I'm not your child's babysitter. Yeah. So where is your child and where are you that I am the influence to your child? If I'm fucking, I'm sucking dick at midnight in the middle of the fucking park,
your child
why are you walking outside with your child?
No, listen. Again,
but if it's happening, listen, I understand.
I'm not imagining that a child can be on park at midnight.
The thing. If it's happening during normal hours, it's a problem. But if it's happening during after hours, then it's not a problem.
I agree.
That's it. Children, listen, you remember when you was little and there would be that commercial, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? They should not be in the park watching you watch a man suck under the man's dick.
I know, but also we're talking about midnight. But what if it's literally, are you from New York City?
I don't know what part of New York you're from. I ain't never walked into no park and seen no wild shit like that. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And I'm a whole faggot. I'm a whole tranny. I'm whatever the fuck these bitches want to call me on the YouTube comments. But I ain't never seen that. I've never seen that. I've seen that in Esco's. But I've never seen that in the park.
Oh, bitch, I've seen that in Esco's.
That's acceptable.
I've seen it in the club.
We're talking about, again, in general, in New York City, there are certain levels of all people where we may push the level of what is, again, just, I don't know, just a sense of class and dignity. You shouldn't be sitting outside.
I think what the tea is
that has to do with everything, because when I see people smoking and drinking in the hallway, I feel like, damn, you should have a little bit more respect than chilling in front of a building. It don't have to do with sexuality.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, what I'm saying is that I'm listening to all y'all, and y'all have really good points or whatever. But like, if you really think about it, y'all just want to be appropriate for a certain whatever the fuck. Like, and some people's lives are not, unfortunately, are not always going to be appropriate for a lot of people at whatever time.
Right.
And vice versa. But the thing is, like, what is appropriate and who are the people that are pointing that's appropriate, that's not appropriate. Like,
absolutely.
And in this day and age, like, we are living in a life where everyone is doing things for whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever's going to bring whatever.
But I still think that as adults, we should...
I absolutely agree with you with that. The thing is, like, we can say that to every single person, like, just how... I'm not gonna, like, point fingers, but, like, how your mother might have told you, how my mother told me, how your mother told you.
Right.
We all have heard that narrative, and it's amazing, and we've seen that narrative, and we are like, what do we do with our children? Let our children do. You know, like, because at the end of the day, none of us are gonna have the last say into what our children are going to do with their whatever the fuck, their nights, their days, their weeks. Because I am living example. Like, my parents taught me all great shit. I would literally I would look at them in the eye and be like, yes, dad, yes, mom. Go to my motherfucking room and do the complete
opposite,
fucking opposite. Right. Only because I knew I could challenge them in that way, because they wouldn't know, bless you.
Sorry, boo.
They wouldn't know that I was questioning them.
Right.
My point is,
my notes.
Both of y'all had very good points in the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Y'all not gonna. Oh, girl, please get her away. Y'all never. The outcome of the outcome.
Shut the fuck up. I'm scared.
The outcome of what's gonna happen.
Antibodies everywhere.
Do this.
Shut the fuck up.
The outcome.
This is our time.
I don't know where
No, you said the outcome.
Of what?
Yeah.
Your child's gonna
And
do
like,
that,
you just have to worry about what your child, because I know where you're coming from, where your child's gonna be like,
no, just children should be protected from adult
right,
situations.
but
that's it.
No, yeah, but
and I agree.
I agree too. I agree.
But we cannot be hypocrites. We cannot put our child in front of the television and let them watch XYZ.
You should not.
And then get upset when they walk down the street
and see
two men holding hands.
No, holding hands. No, two men should hold hands.
Holding hands.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Showing affection.
If you can see it on television, you should not be upset that you see it in real life.
Absolutely.
That is my point.
No, that's
and
a
you
fact.
cannot say, oh, I don't want my child to grow up with these type of beliefs and these type of standards. And then you show them The Little Mermaid, where it shows little girls, be quiet and you can get married too. It's not cool. Okay?
Yeah,
we all have unrealistic standards that we're held up to. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man who sleeps with men or a man who identifies as a woman, it really doesn't matter. We're all held up to unfair standards of living.
Absolutely.
And it is ridiculous because at this point in time, we're all different, okay? And if God was homophobic, we wouldn't have butterflies. And now I have to pee.
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah.
Do you know a show called... You know what it's called.
You know what it's called.
Well, I just want to let you know that I'm the star.
No, I'm the star. You know I'm the star.
You only lying to yourself.
What's that again?
I said, like, my ex-boyfriend told me when you went through my phone, you're only lying to yourself.
Yeah.
So, be honest.
Wow.
That's it. You know what you like.
Do what you want to do.
Right, that's it.
And you were right. Y'all talk. I don't know which one of y'all said it, but like it's specific with the person because you might feel a type of way with somebody and feel like you have that top energy. You might have that bottom energy.
Yeah.
But then
And that's really what it is.
But how do you feel if you... Okay, so I got a question. I got a question. How do you feel, because this happened to me, you know, with, you can blurt the name out. When he was very much topping me, and then out of nowhere he asked me to top him, and I was like, you know what? You know that's
not what I signed up for.
But no, but that was one person that I looked at and I was like, you need to pound me every fucking day, right?
Yes.
So then he asks me to top him, and I'm like, oh, you just made me think about some other shit. Like I didn't even think about this, but you know what, sis? If you want to try this shit.
I'm gonna pretend that I like it.
No, but I did like it.
And you know what?
I did like it. He didn't like it when we first tried it, but he wanted to
trash.
But
but you know, I feel like, listen,
block that name out. We had it.
as a woman that is only 5'4", it is a little bit weird for a 6'3" guy to hold his ankles in front of me. You know, like I'm all for whatever.
Like, put your stuff.
But it's a little bit weird because I'm a woman.
Period.
And I just feel like...
Are you bottom shaming?
I'm not bottom shaming.
No. She is. No, wait.
No, I'm I'm explaining my
experience. Your preference.
No, it's not even about my purpose. It's just about how I feel. Because listen,
how you feel?
When it's going down in the bedroom, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But I'm telling you, like me being short and into tall guys, for a tall guy to be like, oh yeah, my turn is like, what?
Like self-conscious.
Sure, yeah.
No, self-conscious. I just feel more like small.
But that's okay.
So I'm holding these legs.
Yeah, that makes me feel powerful.
No.
You feel powerful, sister? That makes me feel powerful. Because you know I'm little like you. So.
It makes me feel indifferent.
Would you?
What you say about?
It's not like I feel like that's the other thing about like cis gay sex is very different than like trans. Whatever, whoever the fuck we decide to fuck.
Right.
It's not about the size, it's not about anything. It's literally, I mean, it is about the size. Because, like, you feel a certain way when you're doing things, but that's a conditioning. And then
that is a conditioning.
We try to do it the way that we would do it on our own. And then, like, a conversation like this will cloud me in my time of having sex with a man, whether I be topping him or bottoming for him. And I'm like, oh, wait. What will I do? Should I grab the legs up? Oh, is this something
somebody else would be?
Right.
Okay. Like hold your legs.
Right. And like, but
I don't want to hold your legs.
But there's like so many more things that I feel like go into our heads when we're having sex because there's just so many things that we're seeing that are like expected or like wanted or
you watch any porn.
Can I challenge you real quick? For you to flip a guy's world upside down for him to actually top you, you're in charge. So you're overthinking of what might you like. Bitch, flip that shit, control that shit, and do what the fuck you want to do.
No.
You know what I mean?
The thing is that I do know what you mean, but that's not really what it's all about. Because like when you're in that moment, as a person of like, let's say my identity, like, and they.
Sometimes when you top in a guy, you feel like a man and you actually identify as a woman. So that's really what it comes down to.
Literally.
When you're a person of trans experience, whether you're on that side of the spectrum or on this side of the spectrum, we identify as women or we feel like feminine beings. And so when we have to play a masculine role, it's kind of like, oh, what's this? Because we're expected to be, you know, manhandled, controlled, whatever. Like that. This just comes down to
the roles
of nature, which is like.
Absolutely.
But what is that? So is topping masculine?
Is it?
No, it's
well,
not. No.
That goes to like because there's
I mean, my dog who's a girl humps things.
But there's some DL straight guys that like for me to be feminine and still dominate because in a still. I don't know.
Right. At the same time, like. What I'm thinking of on my own is when I'm like fucking like I just want to do it. Like I don't care. Like if you feel a certain way, like let's just work on that and then work on it when we're fucking.
Right.
Like I don't want to hear like, oh shit, I thought you were gonna fuck me because like you're a trans woman with a dick.
Oh no, yeah, that's awkward. That's awkward.
So like there's a lot of things that we have to go through when we're thinking about getting like in a sexual position, like. Where am I landing into this relationship?
And I feel like it also goes into like aspects. I think
I'm just saying
because I've been in situations too where it's like you don't know where because you can automatically assume that being a bottom, you automatically play that feminine role, right?
Right.
So it's interesting where I have been with specific people and they prefer masculine bottoms. So it's like, okay, I understand that, but then you want a masculine energy, but you're the one that is being dominant. Okay, I get that. But then it's difficult.
Depends on the position.
I mean, I get that. But then it's also like a stigma too, where we fall insecure of our roles, and I feel like the society has strung out our sexual fluidity. You know, I feel like there shouldn't have to be that stigma of masculine and feminine. If you're a feminine top and a masculine bottom, like that's a stigma that like has to be like dubbed, but it won't, and that's something that we just have to curate because there's been times where I like to bottom. And there might be, I might not be, and I don't want to, narrow it down to moans, but this is the best way I could do it. You could be the or the
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what kind? Like, are you the or the
fucks.
So wait, so now it's kind of like your octave while
But that's a thing.
But that's a thing.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, what's that? Is that like if I'm top? Like if I'm a top and I'm masculine and I'm alpha, and then I switch to reverse, and I'm like, does that turn you off?
I just
No,
feel like
there's so many tops who will
is
make
a
fucking
spectrum.
little sounds like that, and like if they're bottoming, like there's a top who might be feeling it, and
But
he might be.
aren't
You might
you
be like,
guys
sure.
wanting any?
And I find attraction to that. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
We
Like,
talk
it
about
feels
this
good.
when we talk about masculine men being in touch with that feminine side. I personally enjoy it. I like when I see.
those straight men trying to figure
I like that.
No, but I agree with what Jaemy is saying. Jaemy said that like you will grunt regardless.
Oh, totally.
If any
guys.
type,
Totally.
if any type of sex is good, you will grunt. Or however the fuck you grunt, 'cause there's bottoms, and I hate to like be a part of this because bitch, I'm one of them. But there's bottoms that be like, yeah, baby, yeah, fuck me. I'm like, oh.
That's it.
I wanted someone to. No offense, but I want a motherfucker to squeal a little bit.
Sex
Yeah.
is about
So like, it's
pleasure.
there's a whole different type of like. You can't,
I get what you're saying.
you
Totally.
can't really be like.
But you know what I fucking
Everybody likes
use up
something
when they're like talk to me and I'm like I don't want to.
I don't like that shit.
Talking during sex is always hard because
But I feel like if I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna talk.
yeah, you're fucking.
If I'm gonna talk because it's in my what I'm feeling in the sexual moment.
Right, that's what
Do
I
not
mean.
tell me.
Exactly.
Do not tell me what's my name. What's it? 'Cause
I don't remember.
But
Steven!
that is the same idea of like thinking that the first person that you're like having sex with is gonna stop a certain type of way.
Right.
Because they're not.
Right.
Like you could fuck the most man, and trust me, I have fucked the most manliest men, and when they climax, it's like a fucking.
Good for you, sister. That means you're doing your job, sis.
But
Period.
at the same time, that don't.
Good for you,
That
girl.
don't take
Your
away
toes
from
going like
any type of
Every person has
masculinity,
their
femininity,
That's their
anything.
sound, yeah.
It's, bitch, are you fucking enjoying this shit? Are you
Right.
enjoying getting
As long
fucked?
as you're happy.
Are you enjoying fucking? Like, that's
Right.
what it comes down to. Like, the fact that people really break it down to the, like, the sounds and shit, like, why are you breaking it down? Are you not having fun? Are you not fucking? Is your cum like, I don't know. What is the worst way you can come? I can't tell
In
you.
your
because
eye.
Oh, I had to put fucking. Never mind.
Wow. Oh my god.
In your eye.
Alright, yeah.
No, I'm saying like in the like how what's the worst way you
Gay lingo, yo. Gay lingo. They brought us here, yo.
It brought us
That
there.
was an intense ass
It
conversation.
was intense, but that's
It was a
exactly
gateway drug.
y'all just told me to shut the fuck up, and you know what?
So let us know.
And we're gonna talk about.
Let us know what you think in the comments about top and bottom. You know, positions in
Are you
bed.
less masculine because you're a bottom?
Right, like, are you in a relationship and you were top and bottom in the beginning of a relationship and now you just flip and now there's no rules and regulations? Like, tell us your stories and tell us what you think.
And give us
We
your
care.
lingo. Give us your lingo. What?
And tell us which language
What's
we
your
might miss.
favorite word to use?
Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell on the bottom. You're watching the Airdrop! Woo!